This morning we started the day with a new event in-game that we could see a couple of days ago previously on the calendar inside the game, and it's one of these Deck of Fate events. This Deck of Fate basically just flipping cards, and we've had a couple of them in the past. I kind of miss having just warranted champions in terms of like you open X amount of shards and you get the champion, but it seems that Plarium has changed this format into the Deck of Fate. Now, or today we have this one of the new champions, one of the newest ones. His name is KAWN BRANCHBREAKER, and he's one of the latest champions added the last month, and we are gonna have to open or use a lot of resources in order to get him. Is he worth? Is he not? Let's have a look at it. Hi, Senda here, and welcome to another raid video. In this case, I received a couple of messages this morning on Discord of people asking me, hey Senda, do you know if it's worth? Should we open? Should we burn resources on him? And I didn't even open the game, I didn't even know there was this event, and I had to come in and do the math and check it. So we're gonna go inside the game, we're gonna come to the events, and we can see it here, Verdant, Deck of Faith, and this Verdant and this decoration is because of St. Patrick's Day a couple of days ago. I don't know if it was Saturday that was people were out, or over the weekend it was St. Patrick's Day, and in this case this is themed to St. Patrick's Day. I don't know how KAWN is related to St. Patrick's Day, but he is here. On the event we are gonna have several options in order to get points. We can see there's 5 and times 8, there's 40 cards that we have to flip, and the cost of each card is 1,000. The last time we had one event like that, I think it was Freya during the Asgard Divide promo, and Freya was the main reward of this. And in that case, it wasn't a very cheap event. Normally, I recall a couple of years ago, not this button, I recall a couple of maybe not even years, maybe 2 years, we had in also one of these Deck of Fates, we had on the Skinwalkers, we had Gwendolyn. I got her through this Deck of Fate event, and it was, if I recall correctly, just by opening 20 shards, you'd get her. That will give you the exact amount of points that you need. And in this case, if there's 40 cards that we have to flip, the minimum, I mean, if you open 20, you're not gonna get him. We're talking about minimum, if you're lucky, 35. More likely 36, 37, 38, 39 if you're unlucky, but let's keep in mind that we have to open all of them. For that math, calculating, okay, if it's 1,000 points and there's 40 cards that we have to flip, we have several ways of obtaining them. For example, the test I did was just with artifacts, basically because we're in the middle of fusion. We have right now one of these spider events, not here, a spider tournament, and I think in the next couple of days we're gonna have another dungeon divers, so we can maybe do both at the same time. Here we can do spider, and how many points will that be? So instead of doing the math, I just asked ChatGPT to do it for me. And in this case, I've calculated, okay, we need to flip 40 cards. Every card is 1,000 points. One super raid on spider it cost 40 energy and it gave me 38 points. And basically, if we want to complete this event 100% doing spider or dungeons, whatever it is, and that will cost 40 energy for super raid, it will be 42,105 energy. 42,105 energy just to do this event on spending energy alone on dungeons. But also that's not the only way. You can also get points by opening the souls, I think they're called, these things here, mortal soul stones, immortal soul stones, and eternal souls. In this case, they're also going to give us some points, obviously less points. Of course, there's going to be an offer here trying to sell you how much is this going to cost. Let's see, it's gone. It wasn't cheap, it was like 60 here. Of course, here, soulstone deal, another St. Patrick's Day with souls as well. Here, two big ones, which they can give you just an epic and then money down the drain. 4 immortal and 6 of the small is $60. How many of the medium and the small ones we need to complete this event? So according to ChatGPT, according to previous calculation, we're gonna need 571 of the small ones, 57 of the medium, Or we can also alternatively, instead of opening these soul stones, we can just open shards. And in this case, the points are not per champion inside the shard. You can open a sacred shard and get an epic, and you're gonna get the same exact amount of points if instead of being an epic, it's a legendary, or 145 void shards. And I'm gonna count the blue ones because we had an event over the weekend that we could open a lot of shards and get several copies of the rare for the fusion. So it's a very resource intensive event. I'm not sure who has 571 small or 57 medium. I think the big ones was like 15, 17, something like that, but it wasn't cheap. And as a free to play, you're gonna get what, 1, 2 max if you're selling certain souls and opening every now and then of the big soul stones. And we need, like I said, at least 15, 16 because they don't come in cheap. The same 25 sacred. There might be people who hoard a lot of sacreds and they just don't open them. That's not my case. And the same with the voids. I'm sure there are going to be people who have a lot of voids. But we are in the middle of a fusion. We have on the weekend, we have another of these events for opening. I'm not sure if they're going to put any ×2. But there might be a very interesting and a very good ×15 colliding in the weekend with one of these summon events or champion chase events. And to go to the bottom, to go to the point of this event, is this champion, is KAWN BRANCHBREAKER worth? Short answer, and that's my personal opinion, is that he is not worth. He's a good champion, don't get me wrong, but we're talking that is the same kind of event that got us Freya. Was Freya worth? For some accounts more than others, he was definitely better than this guy. Yeah, he's a void legendary champion, but he's not on par with other legendary champions. If it would have been, I don't know, Raka, even Supreme Galeg, I think these two, even Warlord, can get more content, can open more doors to certain content that what KAWN can do. Like I said, it's not a bad champion. His role, he's a legendary defense champion, but he fills the role of nuker. He's there for the DPS, but not the DPS only. He has good multipliers, like DPS I always check, is the critical damage 63%? If the answer is yes, probably this champion is intended to deal damage. However, defense-based champions, they're not known for being the best nukers, neither are the HP, there's always exceptions, but the idea, especially on a champion that has an A1 that places block revive, what we want to do is to apply block revive every single time. How do we do that? By hitting really hard and killing the enemy. Hence, this champion is designed for damage. But where is this useful? Where is block revive useful? Well, arena. In arena, are we going to attack on the A1 straight away? Probably not. We'll probably want to start with A3. If we start with A3, shield to all the allies, strengthen to all the allies, which is really cool, counter-attack on himself, and this counter-attack is going to be what allows him to do A1, and place a lot of block revives. His nuke is also this skill, which is also a pretty powerful skill, but like I said, is he going to be meta on the arena? Does he ignore Stone Skin? Are his damage multipliers crazy? And the answer is no. I had a chance to test it on the test server. It was fun, but it wasn't a count changer. It wasn't mind-blowing. If the event would have been other void legendary champion, like I said, even Supreme Galeg or Raka, then probably there would have been room for an argument. Are they worth the 25 shards? Are they worth the 42,000 energy or the shitloads of gem that people might spend? In this case, I think the answer is not. Freya was much more worth, and maybe Freya was debatable if she was worth all the shards, but in this case I don't think so, I wouldn't think so. The reviews are pretty bad. I mean, I don't think maybe the champion is not that bad, but like we can see, he's not especially good or particularly good in any of the aspects of the game, if so in the arena, but again, on what kind of teams? On the go first teams, and we just stuck with the A1. On the go second team on Stone Skin, I don't really see him either. I mean, he has good stats, had good HP, good defense, but I mean, I don't think he is going to be part of the meta, to be honest. Also, because if you want to open shards, the options that we can get from the shards are not great champions. I mean, we have here, yeah, Padraig, Great Oak Padraig is probably by far the best. Nari is pretty bad. Killian is pretty bad as well. And Shamrock, I mean, with certain set 9 priest protection can be useful in certain teams, but other than that, I would say he's not super interesting champion. So by far, Padraig is the way to go. The primal shards, not touch them. These ones are only, we only open these ones when there's a ×2 in mythicals. And the same, with the sacred shards, I would keep and I would refrain from opening in this event. Especially because we're in the middle of the fusion of Lord Fabian, the Entertainer, Lord Entertainer Fabian. And we know with a 99% chance after the fusion, we're gonna have an event where we're gonna be able to get his souls or his red stars. And at least normally they will always put an event where we can get up to the 5th one. And the 5th one is a pretty interesting one because it's going to give us accuracy and resistance. And he does need a lot of accuracy. So it's going to be a matter of choosing. If we go and we burn all the resources for this con and doing this event, we might miss in a lot of resources if we want to go and get either finishing the fusion or in the event, like you can see here some reflection, or in the event that we're going to have afterwards where we're going to be able to get some of his souls. So it's up to you to decide. I would say it's not worth. Con is interesting, but it's not worth the amount of resources, especially knowing what's around the corner. So that's all from me today over here, a recommended video, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.